Hi everyone, my name's Pan and welcome to another edition of Bluebird Corner, the Cardiff City fans podcast. So just got back from the City Bradford game, really disappointing. Obviously I wasn't expecting that. Credit to Bradford City, they did a job on us, but just wanted to come on and quickly do a podcast post-match and talk through the game. Oshu started for Lawler. Didn't realise, obviously, I think he's injured, isn't he? So, good to see Oshu, I suppose, make his debut at home. And the team was probably as we thought it was going to be. Turnbull instead of Joe Colwell. And, there was no real surprises, really, other than Oshu, I think, in the starting 11. And we started the game, it's all about chances, isn't it? If you don't take your opportunities, what do you expect? Ashford, absolutely shocker. How he missed that header, I still don't know. I haven't seen it since seeing it live. I just can't believe, he missed it, really. I don't know what happened, but, from that moment, his confidence was shot. He had an absolute shocker. 3 out of 10. And, I don't want to focus just on Ashford because I think that's a bit unfair because, the whole team, I think Willock was okay. But the first half, the whole team was shocking. We couldn't pass the ball. We just couldn't deal with their front three. Their goal was magnificent. Credit to them for the goal. And, we had opportunities. I think Salic, okay, I saw that one header. I think it was in the first half. He was across, I think Bagan. Bagan's crossing was absolutely shocking first. His corners were terrible. But he did get a nice cross in for Salic. But when he headed it, I think he was about 6 yards out. It was just slightly behind him, just an inch. And I think he couldn't get the connection on it. But there was 2 other opportunities in the game for Salic. Really, he should have put it away. And there was plenty of moments in the game where we could have scored goals. I think, as I said, with Ashford missing that early on, going 1-0 up, it changes the whole dynamics of the game. The fans are up. Obviously, as soon as they scored, our fans were quiet. Their fans were singing, as you'd expect. And it was just so flat. I just really don't understand how we've been playing well, as a team, and how we could all be off it. I don't know if it was anxiety. It was a big game at home. Expectation levels gone up after the start we've had. I think probably we're only one of 5 teams out of 92 in the Football League and Premier League who've been unbeaten this season. So, I don't know. I don't know if there was anxiety. But I think, okay, you could look at players like Ashford maybe, but the experienced players like Wintle, Colwell, Turnbull, they just couldn't get a foothold in that midfield. Colwell really had 2 players around him a lot of time, just didn't get into the game. And I think Bradford obviously did their homework on us, so credit to their manager and the team there carried out the plan to perfection. So first half, once that second, Osho, obviously dreadful defending, really. You could see that, he was trying to track him back, get back in position. Soon as the guy gone into the box, you just have to just stay on your feet, whatever you do. If the guy turns inside and beats you, fair enough. But, jumping in like that, just took you out. And it was a clear penalty, wasn't it? Without question. And as soon as that second goal went in, we're up against it. But I think we were, in the game. There were opportunities, and there was, I said, in a pre-pod that 2-2 was my prediction. So, there was no reason why we couldn't score. But that third goal, they opened us up so easily. It was dreadful. But we'd had opportunities. We hit the crossbar in the second half. I don't know if it was a header again from Salic. I think Robinson had a shot. I think there was 1 or 2 other opportunities. I think Colwell, Colwell does when he beats 2 or 3 players, he glides through, and then his shooting is dreadful sometimes. He's going back to the days in the Championship where you just hit it, without no control. Just a little bit more composure, but it just wasn't our day, was it? I mean, there were opportunities there. We definitely had plenty of shots. There were opportunities to score. Um, we should have been 1-0 up early on, and it just changes the whole dynamics of the game. And there was no one really that stood up. But I would say, and I credit to him, I think Osho in the second half was fantastic. I think he was the only one who was driving forward. The way he was bringing the ball out, he was beating players with ease. And he looked really assured. And credit to the lad, when you've done something like that in making your home debut, and sometimes, you can lose it and your head goes and you easily get taken off. But really credit to the lad. I thought he was probably our man of the match for our team. So well done to him. But substitutions made a difference. I said Ashford just was appalling in the game. He had to come off. Isaac Davis definitely made a difference. I think Willett coming off, I was really shocked that Willett was coming off, but I suppose the balance of the team with Kellyman on the right and Davis left, and then Robinson going up. And then we sort of had two in midfield. We were sort of playing 4-2-4 really for that last 20 minutes or so. And like I said, when we got that goal from Robinson, it was pleasing to see him get his second goal in two. Again, I thought we were in it. Even when the 90th minute came up, I thought, 8 minutes out of time, we can get another one. So there's never a moment in that game. I was always disappointed when you see fans walking out after 70 minutes. I just don't get it. Okay, 3-0 down. I've been at games before. I've learned my lesson the hard way, watching City over the years. The opposite way, really, when we were beating Chelsea 3-0, going back in, I don't know, it was 84 now. And then I left the game with 8 minutes to go and then got home and put grandstand on. It was 3-3. So, anything happened in the game. And I thought there were chances for us to score. We just didn't have our shooting boots on. The whole team, in effect, weren't at it. In the main, I think 95% of them were no more than 5 out of 10. So what can you say? Credit to Bradford. They came here, did a job. They looked really effective in terms of counter-attacking. They had a really good front three. The number 10, Sasevic, was outstanding. I think he wound up Wintle quite a bit, wound up some of the fans as well. And their own local lad, Poynton, was excellent. So to credit to them, they deserved the victory. Their fans were excellent. And we move on. It's one game, isn't it? We've got a game in hand. You've just got to look at that. Well, we're in that mix. I said to my mates at the game, look, when we were 3-0 down, look, it's, we can't be too despondent at the start. If anyone had said to us at the start of the season, we'd gone 11 games, 10 unbeaten, 1 defeat, we would have taken it all day long, isn't it? So we are disappointed. Obviously, we weren't expecting that result, but, we are still at the top end of the table and it can easily return, I think, to the top with our game in hand. I think the challenge for us, obviously, Burnley's a free hit now in midweek. I'm doing a podcast on Tuesday about a previous season, and then I'll do one as well about the Burnley game. But we haven't beaten them since 2008. So here's a free hit, 17 games since 2008. We couldn't get a win there. So it's going to be tough at Burnley. But the really important one is Wigan next week. That's not going to be easy. They lost today. They're pretty tricky to beat at home. They've got Mullen on loan from Wrexham. So, that's important now for City, that we do bounce back. But it's just one of those games, isn't it, where we just weren't at it at all. We couldn't get into the game. Once, you don't take your chances. There's not much else you can really say. So, very disappointed, obviously. But we move on. We keep our chins up. As I said, the key is to stay in that top 3 or 4 come January. And I'm sure Tan would help the manager in bringing some more players in. Certainly, I think my own view has always been the view that Bagan as left back needs competition. I know we got Louis Giles, but I think there was a missed opportunity by the recruitment team. We should have brought in left back to challenge Bagan. I think that would have been really useful at this stage of the season to have that competition. But in the main, Kellyman, obviously, it's early days for the lad. Can't be too critical just because he cost £19 million. Expecting miracles off the lad. He hasn't played a lot of football, so it'll take him 3 to 4 weeks to get up to speed. So let's give him a chance. And it's good. The positives is Robinson scored. Isaac Davis was excellent. Oshu in the second half was excellent. So there are some positives there. So thanks very much for watching Bluewood Corner, and we shall see you soon. Take care.